So we are trained to read between the lines, and we're trained to pay attention to people's behavior, the way they act, the way they think, and how you put all that together. The human being is a very complex. They have very complex personalities. Everybody is so different, and it's basically your behavior is based on what you learn throughout your life. The messages, different messages, because you can have siblings living in the same house, with the same household, the same parents, the same morals, the same customs, and every one of them is going to think differently. Okay. So every human being is so complicated. This is basically the science who study deviant behaviors, deviant minds, very different patterns of thinking, and everything that has to do with the criminal mind.
Okay. That's excellent. That's excellent. First of all, I want to say, besides the hello, a happy Easter. Incredible that a lot of us we're spending Easter quarantine, a lot of us. Tell me, before I get into New York, which is a whole big subject, what's happening now with this whole COVID crisis. How's it going in Georgia? And then I'll talk later about New York. Tell me, how's it going? How you guys doing out there? We were talking before about the National Guard, but you could tell me a little bit what's going on as of today in Georgia.
So what we are experiencing in Georgia is the situation is pretty much controlled. It's not out of control if we compare with other states like New York. But down here is being more, a lot of people is following the shelter in place. So, which is really, really, really coming down to, people getting infected with the virus. Now, there are some rumors, and I'm just going to call it rumors, okay, where they're saying that our governor, Brian Kemp, is very concerned about a couple of cities. And I recall one of these cities being Albany, because there have been a lot of cases reported in that city. And there is a second city, I can't remember the name at the moment. I should have looked it up before I talked to you, but I forgot.
That's okay.
Anyway, yes, the second city, the city of concern, where they are reporting new cases. So the shelter in place is definitely helping. I believe there are no more. We haven't seen any more outbursts of a lot of cases other than those two cities. So, to my belief, when they are able to target the cities where they are really getting more new cases, is because the situation is under control. It was out of control if they don't know where they're coming from, and we're having tons and tons of cases now. Okay. So, at the moment, as
of today, we know that one of the hot issues right now, besides this whole crisis, is civil liberties, First Amendment. There was a couple of cases in court yesterday in other states, in Kentucky, in Kansas, where judges overruled the governors because they were putting the shelter in place and not allowing people to practice in a holy day. This is the holiest day for the Christians. And one church was going to they were going to fine people. They were threatening to arrest because of the fact that they were violating the quarantine. What do you think about that when it comes to the First Amendment rights of these churches? Even though it's been a battle, because these judges overruled a lot of these governors. What do you think about that? Is it happening there too?
Well, nobody can overrule the amendments. The amendments are there for a reason, and it won't matter if a situation of safety does not overrule, our Constitution. So these people were smart enough to take it to court, and then win it, because based on the law, they are going to win it. Well, the difference is, I'm a former police officer as well here in Georgia. So, the law is always going to prevail. So all these situations based on concerns of health are okay. It is fine. It's a new order. We have to follow that order. But if someone comes forward and try to fight their constitutional rights, it's going to win. They're going to win. Now, it's going to be on the hands of these churches, okay, to safeguard the health of their, members. So I don't know what kind of measures are they going to put in place to have their members come to church. That will be a complete different fight, a complete different situation, because I know they are actually charging people who is putting other people at risk, or people, who is habilitating get somebody else, get infected. So I don't know. It will be very interesting to see what develops after this.
Yeah, I got to tell you that I saw cars, and which is ridiculous when it comes to the officials. These folks, one of them, I think it was in Kentucky, they were going to drive their car and have everybody stay in the car and have a whole parking lot of people inside their car in a service. Why would the officials have a problem? Well, how would that violate quarantine or any social distance guidelines? How? If you're inside of a car and can you explain?
With your own family, which you're allowed to.
And that's the danger that a lot of these officials, right, that they are doing this because of a crisis, but I think a lot of them are, I think it's experimenting, with something, because they really want to take control. Because it makes no sense. It's not social distance guidelines, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, as long as yesterday I went for a walk to the park, because they are encouraging people to go out and exercise. And the distribution of coffins, FEMA coffins, have been distributed now to FEMA centers. So when I heard this, and I know these coffins were made years ago. Thousands and thousands of coffins, and I know actually Georgia is holds one of the factories who made many of these thousands of plastic coffins. They are so big that you can probably put according to what they're saying, they said back then, because this was done may have been about 10 years ago or more, when they started making these coffins, probably between 10 to 15 years ago, when FEMA ordered these kind of coffins for emergency situations. But I'm certified on FEMA. I'm a respondent, because when you're a police officer, you're a first responder, you have to take these classes, and I believe you did as well.
Yeah.
As a police officer, you are also former police officer in New York.
Exactly.
So I know, they put us through these classes, and we have to learn, FEMA responses for crisis and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So we know we have to be certified in this thing. We have to learn a lot about FEMA and what they do and what to do if they're present in a case of crisis or disasters, national disasters and stuff like that. So they were preparing, for something like this, something that will be massive deaths. Okay, and this was many years ago. So I know one of the factories is here in Georgia, and so one of our Facebook friends, which is a very well known and a person of trust, came up yesterday on the live feed on Facebook. He was completely taken by the situation of having truckers. He actually mentioned friends of him, they were truckers. They are delivering massive coffins to some of the FEMA campuses. We don't know what the FEMA campuses are. They're all hiding.
Yeah.
We know this. And they are in very remote locations, okay? He actually referred to this campus as concentration camps. Well, we know that there are concentration camps made by FEMA, and we know they exist. We just don't know where they are. Because just like he said in his live feed yesterday, he said the truckers, friends of him, they have delivered these coffins to these particular FEMA campuses. They said the addresses do not show up in a map, in a Google map. And he's actually, he has to meet with a couple of officers who would drive him off the road 5 to 7 miles to get to these campuses. So the government wants these campuses to be lost. They don't want anyone to have information where they are located, okay? So that is concerning to the citizens, because they don't know what is going on. What are they planning? Why do we have these campuses hiding? Why do we have now this massive movement of coffins being delivered to these campuses? So the first thing that came to mind to me yesterday was New York, because you guys are having a large amount of death per day, and I think one of the highest was 799 deaths on 24 hours, which was like a couple days ago.
And we have 3 days in a row of those type of numbers keep going up.
keep going up. So I also heard there is people dying in their own homes.
That's correct. Yep.
And they can't retrieve the bodies because the response from the medical examiners, ambulances, doctors is taking 24 to 48 hours because they are swamped. Okay, so the first thing I thought was, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, and please correct me if you don't think that way, or whoever's watching this, just feel free to put your comments, is the amount of death. That there's a lot of people, funeral homes are packed. I mean, they don't have room for any more deaths.
Yep.
You said the morgues are packed. They are putting bodies in large refrigerators, and you were a witness of that.
Yep.
In those large refrigerators, it's not a lie. So
let me tell you. Let me jump in. Exactly, everything you just said right now. Some people might classify it as conspiracy theory, but like you said, there's facts, and you've seen what's happening. Many people, and I want people to listen, if it's your audience or anybody when they get to listen to from another state. I am here in New York. I am a registered conservative a reporter, and I've been following this story from day one in New York. Yes, we are the epicenter. Yes, this is a crisis that is so out of control that here in New York, we don't know what's going to happen next. There are a large number of deaths. Yes, I am a witness to one of those portable morgues outside of hospitals. The hospitals usually can hold up to 25, I believe, bodies. They're holding hundreds of bodies, and this is incredible. I want to read off a statistic from the fire department here in New York City in regards to the homes you were saying. The fire department responding to 2,192 cases of deaths in the home between March 20th of this year and April 5th. That's about 130 a day. Almost a 400% increase from the same period last year. An average of 245 deaths per day compared to 20 to 25 per day before this pandemic. This is a source from the Department of Medical Examiner's Office. They're saying they have an untold numbers of them unconfirmed. Listen to this, unconfirmed. The medical examiner's office is not testing bodies for COVID-19. Instead, they're referring suspected cases to the city department as probable. That's another problem. People that are dying, they're not testing them. They can't even keep control of what's happening. So we're losing control out here. I hate to say it to the officials here. We're losing control out here. The bodies, they don't know what to do. They're burying them right now in one city park called Hart's Island. They wanted to deny that, but that's the truth. So I don't know what to tell you. Here in New York, there's so many deaths, and right now they don't know what to do with the bodies. Now continue. You see this thing about FEMA, you're saying, what is going on? And New York is the example. And they're trying to say that the mainstream media is blown out of proportion. What do you think?
Yes, well, one of the things that I thought was, New York, because there's so many dead bodies at the moment. Not everybody's going to be able to bury their family members. No funerals are going to be available for a long time. We don't have enough cemeteries available at the moment. So they're even thinking about burying the bodies on the public parks. Yeah. I heard that from New York. So, and I know for the people who follows me and knows me, Henry has been, he's a conservative journalist, and he doesn't have any motivation to create fake news. So what he is telling us is exactly what he has been seeing. And also, you run for the seat, right? A couple of years ago.
Yeah, congressional for Congress in 2018, yes.
As a Republican, correct.
Say the Book of Revelation. Yes, it's very, what we're going through right now, it's like a
very biblical, right? Apocalyptic.
Yeah, I mean, everything that's happening, but
we're running out of medications, we're running out of equipment, and we're even running out of oxygen, which is something that patients that have COVID-19 need.
Think of it as